trend following certainly has its perks as a trend continues, but as it begins to slow, the judgment call whether the trend is over or just pausing becomes much more difficult. What I'd like to focus on here to start off and kick off the second quarter of 2024 is our continued focus on energy stocks. We've been making a big deal. It's been a big focus of ours over the past month and a half, maybe 2 months at this point. And we really think this is going to be a major theme here in the second quarter. What I want to just quickly show you here, before we look at the energy sector itself, is how the energy sector has been developing. So what we're going to do here, and I'll make this a larger chart, is we have our what's called our market rover. It's our trend following and trade and trend analysis tool, web-based. And what I did here is I went into my sectors on the S&P, and I isolated the energy sector. So all I'm showing here is stocks in the energy sector. And if I look at this trend column here, it's the one that I am highlighting or hovering over. You can see currently out of the, I believe there are 22 stocks in that sector, at least the way we track it. You can see about a third or so are currently bullish trend. The rest of them are either still bearish or more neutral. And you can see like Valera Energy, which we've owned off and on. It's been bullish trend since December. The stock continues to do really well. You see something like Marathon Petroleum, same thing. This thing's been bullish for much longer than that. In fact, since about a year and a half, more than a year and a half, going on a year and 3/4 at this point. And the stock continues to be up 75%. But what we haven't seen until recently is more stocks, until about 2-3 weeks ago, is more energy stocks go from a bearish trend to a neutral trend, and then that ultimately should lead to a bullish trend. So I'll just walk you through some of them. Like, for example, in some of the big ones like ConocoPhillips, you can see it's been bullish and it went to neutral, and it's now rallying, but it's not yet in a confirmed bullish trend, but it's neutral trend. Then you have something like ExxonMobil, or those are the big ones, right? It's been choppy and annoying and bearish and neutral, but we're getting into a stretch of neutral trend where I think the next trend is going to be bullish, or Apache, which is actually still bearish, but I think going into neutral soon. So you can see that phase transitioning happening in real time. More stocks, and you literally see by how old these neutral trends are. They're all about 2 to 3 weeks old. And so they've gone from a bearish trends to neutral trends, and I think ultimately the bullish trends. And so the reason why this is important is to put some context into the very simple chart of the energy sector. So we can see underneath the hood what's actually taking place, and it's confirming to us that this breakout here in the long-term chart, this is the energy sector going back to 2008, right? So that's like 10 plus 6, about 16 years of not being able to ultimately stay above, let's say, not 90 area, low 90s on the XLE. But I think we're finally getting to the point where, as you can see, we're trying to push above this now, and it's ultimately going to lead to a breakout. And then all the things that we're seeing here in the market, over all these stocks that have gone from bearish to neutral over the past 2-3 weeks, and ultimately going to bullish, there's a lot of breakouts coming, as I'm saying. So all these ones that are neutral, they're probably all going to trigger and give us buy signals here in the market rover. Now, this week's focus in our research call is going to be about how can we generate income in the markets. And one way of doing that is actually using one of my absolute favorite indicators and processes, which has to do with finding overbought and oversold signals, where we can then put on income trades. This is going to work great in the energy sector, as well as we see more dynamics coming into that market. We're going to start to see lots of energy stocks become extremely overbought on a short-term basis and ultimately oversold on a short-term basis. And this sector, I think, is ripe for that kind of a thing. So if you're interested in how you can trade the markets, and if you're looking at potentially generating some income from your portfolio or from sectors that are getting more dynamic, like energy sectors in our view, make sure you join us this week. It's about using our vertical X Pro indicator to generate, to look for an income strategy for our portfolios. You can sign up for that down below or on the next screen. Bring you questions as always, and we'll see you there.